Hello and welcome into my Monday message for you. And today I want to talk about a very sweet thing, which is the sugar, right? And it's so controversial because the moment you talk about sugar, people roll their eyes and say like, well, I just want to have a little bit of chocolate. Now, that's okay. I'm not against it overall. It's just the sugar is everywhere. And for many of my clients, and also including myself, it is a real struggle to resist. And I will tell you why in a moment. But a lot of people also struggling with their health conditions. So when we enter the seasons of Thanksgiving and Christmas, it is a real struggle to actually resist. And we often treat sugar as something that is a reward because that's how our brain works as well. So most of the time, when it comes to sugar, it's that our brain needs the fuel. So sugar is a true fuel for the brain, but too much of the sugar is also not good for the brain. So when we think about it, in healthy individuals, the pancreas releases insulin, which is the hormone which allows the sugar, the glucose from food to enter the cells for energy. We need sugar for energy. But we don't want it to be elevated in our bloodstream. Our body doesn't like it because it's a toxin. When you have elevated sugar levels all over for a very long time, everything suffers within you. You have no energy, your skin is poor, all of that. So we need to strike this balance, right? And get our sugar levels where they should be. But why we can't resist sugar? Well, it's everywhere, right? And it's just addictive. And it is shown in the research that what happens when we eat something, like we have this kind of dopamine and serotonin released, and those are happy hormones, right? This is how it works, but it's the same, unfortunately, with drugs, right? So it is addictive, but that's how our body reacts to sugar. So it's very difficult for us to resist it. The other thing is that we've always been treating sugary treats as a reward. Yeah, a lot of this is in the childhood. That's how we've been brought up, and there is a lot of triggers around that. So if you are in your 50s or 60s, and you remember yourself in your childhood, there may be a lot of sugary treats everywhere. There may be, sugary cereal for breakfast. And now it's a trigger for you because you smell it in the morning if somebody else has it. And it's a trigger. You want it as well, but it's not necessarily good for you right now. So we have been brought up with certain behaviors and certain habits. Nobody told us that it's wrong and it wasn't known at that time. But unfortunately, when we come to the age where we have to really look after ourselves, it can be very difficult, right? So it can be challenging and there are a lot of triggers. So first of all, sugar is everywhere. It's added to products to preserve, to taste good, and so that we feel, addicted, right? So it is everywhere. Then, of course, we have it in advertising. We have all this. One of the things that I am truly passionate about is changing the narrative and changing the way, for example, charities collect money, so we don't have to do it through the cake sale, right? A lot of people cannot have cakes, but still would like to support the charity. Like myself, I'm type 1 diabetes. I feel terrible, excluded if I go and I just have to do or participate or donate to buy a cake which is full of sugar and doesn't serve anyone any good. It has to be balanced. But when you look at those cake tables, there isn't any, right? I remember when I went to Denmark and there is like the afternoon pick me up. So you will have very small pieces of some cake and maybe chocolate, but also you have cut up peppers and cherry tomatoes for those people who don't eat sweet. And I think this is such a great alternative. Yeah, make sure that you choose some veggies that can basically give a choice to people who don't eat sugar, don't have cakes and all of that, and who are really taking their health seriously. Because it's not about the weight, it's about how we feel, how we what kind of energy we have and want to have. And sugar makes us sluggish, right? Most of the time it makes us sluggish because we have this sugar crash because of a lot of insulin in our body and taking our sugars down. So sugar is everywhere, it's added, there is a lot of triggers. And the other point is unprocessed emotions. So a lot of us, we go through difficult times. Yeah, we go in our lives, but also externally. So there is a lot of things that, oh, I need that pick me up. I had a bad day, so I'm gonna, look for something sweet as a treat. So we're starting to look for that, and it becomes a habit, but also our brain expects that. It expects that we're gonna have that reward. So it's all about changing the narrative and processing your emotions so you don't buffer, so you don't go and overeat, but also allow yourself that balance. So the sugary treat or whatever, it's your choice, rather than just being an automatic behavior. You go to the cupboard, you take it out, you eat it, and you are not necessarily happy with yourself afterwards, which just creates a vicious cycle of just not loving yourself from that perspective, and just going on and on and on constantly into that, I call it a kind of the sugar cycle, right? So that's my message for Monday. All of that can be changed. It can be transformed into something that helps you better, because I don't want you to suffer. I don't want you to be in that cycle of wanting something and then having it, and then especially in the cycle of cravings, because if we can't resist something, it's a craving, it's a strong desire for something, but also realizing the absence of something as well, so that we even wanted more, right? So it's all about increasing the self-awareness, understanding your triggers as well, and also keeping your diet very, very balanced, especially nutritionally, because if your body calls for, it could be also salty treats, not only sugary, there is something missing overall in your environment, but also in your body. When we keep it balanced, then we have a lot of chances to really be successful in resisting sugar. But 90% of people on this planet have cravings, right? And it's very, very, very common, and it just goes from what we truly desire in our life, and something that body is missing. So it's understanding that, processing, and having a few tools available that can help you in a very loving and compassionate way to deal with it, because it's not about hate towards yourself. There's a lot of about self-love, and then really supporting you on the highest level. All right, so that my message for Monday. Sign up for the challenge if that resonates with you. There is this link to sign up in the show notes, and I hope to see you there. We're starting on the 25th of November, and people are like, oh my goodness, this is right in the Christmas season. But that's the point, right? We have to train our resilience in it, and it's not about the perfection. And I will help you how to navigate the seasons so that you don't end up with unwanted, difficult emotions or weight even in January, right? You can totally do this in a way, and you will feel empowered and really loving towards yourself. That's what it is, love, and it just being look after, okay, from internally and externally. Take care, and all the best.